said Mr. Mayhem, Teddy Christopher. We were going to follow his way through the field. There's that 36 car, and Christopher certainly on the move. He moves to 11th right now. So Teddy Christopher starts 29th and only 21 laps into this race. He's almost into the top 10, but here we go, back up front. Another leader, Ronnie Silk, and take a look at this, Justin Bonsignor.
Yeah, but look at this pack of cars. Bonsignor, look how Lucy got off the corner, but this is great racing. Bonsignor got past Newman, now he gets past Pierce. He says, guys, I'm not done. I'm going to come up here and mess with some Silk and Pinnock here shortly.
But I go to what Jimmy Spencer said at the top of the show. When I look at those top 4 drivers, I think they've got on their mind, we are not going to let Ryan Newman beat us here today.
And Larry, you know, we talked about it a little earlier where Newman got high. These guys before used to give a little bit more room. They said, wait a minute, Newman, we're just not going to move over for you. So I think you're right. These guys, hey, we're the modified boys. You just can't come in and take our money all the time.
You know, Mike Stefanik spun a little while ago in this race, but he described the draft this way. He said, you know what? You pull up alongside of somebody, go down the straightaway here, you go into the corner, whether it's 1 or 3, you basically play a game of chicken because it's going to be who lets off first that actually doesn't get the spot.
And you know, the thing is, Bobby, is we're so relevant to say, plate racing, you never lift. These guys have to lift. They can't go through there, even though they got a plate on them, even though they're drafting. They still can't go through this track flat-footed. The cars won't handle it.
We are not even a fourth of the way through this race. We've already had 12 lead changes, especially up here with Silk and Penny.
This is awesome. Take a look at that. 3 leaders so far. Beers, Silk, and Pennock. And Pennock, he's a tough guy, too. Out of the Pennsylvania area as well. And he's got some guns like old Jeff Hammond.
The thing about Pennock, I watched this guy win his first race last year at Riverhead Speedway. It was a great race. And the thing is that the modifieds, like you said earlier, this is the mainstay here. And these guys are showing Newman today. Newman is having his hands while he's passed back Bonsignor. He's back up to 4th. But these guys in the front, they're racing hard.
Got some fluid there on the in-car camera lens for Ryan Newman. We'll check that out when we come back here. Don't go anywhere. 13 lead changes already. We're only 25 laps into this race. Today, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series rocks the Granite State as the championship contenders mix it up on the Magic Mile. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from New Hampshire today at 2:30 Eastern, only on Speed. And of course, Chris Devoto will have the setup right after this race. 26 laps in the books of 100 here. Rowan Pennock is your leader. Ronnie Silk in 2nd. Eric Beers in 3rd. Old Ryan Newman there is back in that 4th spot.
You know, when I look at Eric Beers in that 45 car, qualified on the outside of the front row, he comes in here 4th in the points. In 13 races this year, he has completed all but 2 laps of competition. One reason, he's 4th in the points.
Very consistent, certainly. You got a lot of movers and shakers there. Just want to update you. Ted Christopher back up to 9th.
The big thing about Christopher is he started in the rear because of circumstances, but he is all the way up to the top 10 under green flag conditions, Bobby. And another guy you just brought up, Santos.
Bobby Santos started 28th here. He has now moved up to the 17th spot, so not moving through the field as quick as Ted Christopher. But Jimmy, I want to talk to you about this paint scheme because we all know that Richie Evans is going to be inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame this year. Richie Evans,
God, does that look like
I'll tell you what, that's a tribute scheme to Richie Evans, the 9-time NASCAR National Modified Champion. That's a great looking race car, and you went side by side with a car that looked like that with the number 61 on the side.
And I got to thank Santos and his car owner Bob Garbarino for doing this for the modified fans, me being one of them. You know, Larry, when you see a tribute car like this, you know, you and I were talking earlier about Richie. He is the first guy outside of the Sprint Cup Series, so to speak, to get recognition. I think that's a tribute to the Hall of Fame and how important the short track races are for NASCAR.
Yeah, 9 modified tour championships, had an opportunity. It was offered some Sprint Cup Series rides, but elected to stay in the modified.
Really good friends with him, and I was fortunate. I stayed at his house, and little Richie was growing up and everything. And Richie told me, I says, Richie, no idea wanting to go south. He says, no, Spence. He says, I make a lot of money short track racing, plus I get to race 100 races a year. The big thing for that was you could race Tuesday, Wednesday nights, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And I think that was a big thing for Richie. He enjoyed the modifieds, he enjoyed the fans, and he was truly a guy you knew you had to try to beat. It wasn't easy to do, but you could beat him sometimes. You never could beat him all the time. He was truly a champion.
Loved watching the Rapid Roman and Big Orange come to my home track when I was a kid up in the grandstands at Islip Speedway, and that car is just awesome. And remember, Speed is your motorsports authority and also your home to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So Bobby Santos III, he's got a lot of history, racing history in his family, and he certainly knows how important it is to carry Richie Evans' colors. But back up front, another lead change for the 14th time here. Take a look at that. Ronnie Silk back up front. That 6 car is very strong.
The big thing is the 6 and the 93 have been first or second most of the time, and we're seeing Newman. He tried to stretch in there, tried to push his way up there. He doesn't seem to have the car that's necessary. Right now he's running fit with Panic and Silk strong right now.
We got a new player up there in that top 5. Woody Pitcat in the 28 car. He's moved up to the 4th position there, right behind Eric Beer.
Pitcat, a multi-time champion at the Stafford Speedway in Connecticut. Side to Dick Berggren.
Pitcat, however, has never won in this tour. He finished second here in August. That is his career best finish ever. And today is the last race for his team. Car owner Don King, after 12 years, has left his job, and therefore he needs to leave auto racing. He doesn't have the money to fund it anymore. So Pitcat, hard on the gas in car number 28 to try to win in the team's last run.
Check out that move right there by that 36. He's another Mr. Excitement. I know we used to call Jimmy Spencer Mr. Excitement, but Teddy Christopher certainly plenty exciting himself, and he has now moved up to the 5th spot. Teddy Christopher cracks the top 5.
And another guy we want to mention here is Rudolph. There's another family strong in the modifieds, mainly in the New York area. His father raced. Rudolph finally into the top 10. So, but Teddy right now showing his hand. He passed Newman. This race is getting pretty interesting right about now, baby.
Rowan Pennick is your leader, 34 laps in the books here. Newman falling back a little bit. He's back to 7th right now. Back here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Rowan Pennick, your leader, Silk in 2nd, and Eric Beers in 3rd. Ryan Newman not even found in that shot. He's fallen back just a little bit, and we all know that Teddy Christopher is coming to the front. But how about Woody Pitcat in that 28 car for Don King, the car owner? Dick Berggren just mentioned possibly his last race, and he is really putting it on everybody here, moving to the front of the field.
The thing that's neat is it'd be a great story if this guy could fulfill, get his first win, especially at the biggest venue of the modified tour here in New Hampshire.
Woody Pitcat finished 2nd in this race when the modifieds were here in August, but right now those skies kind of coming down a little bit. Can you tell us anything, Dick Berggren?
I can tell you it's raining right now, and I can also tell you that the majority of teams I talked to this morning said they were going to pit if we got a caution flag somewhere near halfway. And I'm starting to see activity here on pit road. Should we get the caution now, and it's likely to come soon, pit road will get to be an exciting place.
Well, Dick, we're 14 laps from halfway. These drivers may now have on their mind that we're racing for lap 50 because we know NASCAR is going to do everything they can, still keeping safety in mind to get to that halfway point.
Yeah, Larry, safety is a big issue. This track is not wet. Yes, there is a little haze, but as a driver, these cars, a lot of heat in tires. We don't see no moisture on the track yet. The track's pretty silly. Wait, you bring a great point up. What do we do? If there is an issue with rain after lap 50 and they hit it, oh my. Now all at once, if it doesn't come back, you gave up everything you did earn.
We're seeing a lot of fog roll in over some of those mountains here, the White Mountains of New Hampshire coming into turn number 2. Maybe a little bit of moisture down there in turn number 2 because we got a caution here for the first time in this race with Rowan Pennick, your leader.
Now, with the caution coming this far from halfway, this is where it can become a chess match because it's not an official race yet. This may be indeed when they come and get their tires again.
And I'm told we are under caution because the track is a little bit wet. They are in turn number 2. Don't go anywhere because we don't know if these guys are going to pit or not. Closing in on the halfway mark of this modified tour race. The Rapid Roman Richie Evans. Take a look at Big Orange at number 61, sliding around the corners. The 9-time NASCAR National Modified Champion. He will be inducted into the Hall of Fame for NASCAR in January. And of course, your Speed is the home of the Hall of Fame. And take a look again at that great tribute scheme by Bobby Santos and the Bob Garbarino Mystic Missile here that orange number 4 here. Richie carried the 61, but I tell you what, Richie Evans, we lost him way too soon. He was a great racer, lost his life at Martinsville Speedway. Who knows how many more championships he actually would have won.
He was the mainstay in the modifieds. I mean, we've seen it over the years. So many guys have come to the modifieds. Jeff Bodine, I followed Jeff Bodine into the Cup Series. You know, the thing was is that Richie was the guy that if you were a modified fan, you pulled for Richie because, you know what? He stayed in the modifieds. He was truly the epitome of modified racing.
Well, I think you said it, Jimmy, and we can't say it enough. This is the 3rd class of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. He is the first person to go in that doesn't have the Sprint Cup affiliation. Now, Bobby Allison had an affiliation with the Modified Tour. In fact, he won 2 championships, but Richie Evans, 100% Modified Tour.
I tell you what, gotta love the Rapid Roman Richie Evans. He was unbelievable to watch. Tonight, don't miss live coverage of Barrett Jackson Las Vegas. Right here on Speed, I've been watching it every single night. See the finest, rarest, and most desirable collector cars on the planet. Cross the block and go for big dollars. Live on Speed tonight, starting at 5:30 Eastern. Under caution here at the Magic Mile, and trouble for the guy that has been so dominant here in the modifieds. Ryan Newman pitted. You could see the smoke billowing from the engine compartment, and trouble for Ryan Newman. Dick Berggren?
I talked to Gary Putnam, the crew chief, and he just looked at me and said it blew up. Newman, done for the day.
Newman was the guy that crossed the finish line first when we were here in July. In post-race tech, they found to have an illegal engine modification on that restrictor plate motor. He said he wanted to come back here to Loudon with a legal motor and dominate and win again. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to have a chance to do that.
Jimmy and I were watching this car during break, though, when they were still at Green Flag Racing. It appeared that something was going on before this caution, because he was certainly starting to lose some ground.
Yeah, he was losing a lot of speed, it seemed like, at the tail end of the straightaway, because he got high the one time and he never could get it back, and then always saw, you know, Woody Pitcat pass him. That's tough
to say.
Then Teddy Christopher come up, and, you know, a bunch of guys, we just saw Newman kept dropping back, so evidently that whatever happened was causing him a lot of horsepower loss.
Pit strategy, always very important here at this racetrack, and it's already starting to play into the strategy here. Dick Berggren?
Well, if we get past lap 50 and they call this race, the drivers who have stayed out on the racetrack and who have not yet pitted are going to clearly be in an advantage, because the guys who pit are going to be behind them. On the other hand, it just feels and looks here on pit road as if this rain is stopping. The skies are brightening, and if the folks who already pitted don't have to pit again, and they don't, one pit stop will make it, they will have the advantage, because the other guys are going to have to pit later, and they will restart this race behind the people who already pitted. So a lot of interesting strategy going on here on pit road.
Strategy, always interesting to see how it plays out. Want to remind folks, we're under caution here because a little mist came over turn number 2 here at the Magic Mile, and that's why we're under this caution. But Larry Mack, I saw you going, putting that crew chief hat on.
Well, I'm going to go back to the July race that Ryan Newman won. Same length race, 100 laps. Even though we had some long green runs at the end, there was enough cautions that they did not have to even make a pit stop. So 90 to 100 laps, and that's green flags, is right there on the cusp of being able to make it. I think if we run enough cautions, some of these drivers at the front are thinking about not even making a pit stop.
Yeah, I think they can make it, like you said, Larry, under these cautions. But I guess, Bobby, we got information from NASCAR?
Well, Dick Berggren is actually on pit road right now, I believe, with Ryan Newman.
Yeah, and a lot of smoke coming out from the number 77 car. Should blow up?
Steam, yeah.
Did it overheat first, Ryan? Is that what happened?
I couldn't tell if it was the guys in front of me. I was getting on the winch, so I couldn't tell if it was the guys in front of me or my own water, but we were spitting a little bit of water, and it melted the motor down. We got the caution. The rain came just a little bit late for us, but didn't get a chance to work on it. By the time we got the water in it, it already hurt the engine, so it's unfortunate. Car was really good. Just managing a little bit of rain in 1 and 2 there for a little while, and I got to thank Aggressive Hydraulics and Menards for giving us this opportunity. And these guys, we still have a lot of fun, but we we're done for the day.
You know, this is disappointing for the rest of the field to see you out because everybody else wanted to beat you.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll relief driver for somebody else.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
I love it.
Ryan Newman loves these modifieds, and unfortunately right now, cars coming down pit road, they brought them on pit road, NASCAR did, because we do have a misting type condition all the way around this racetrack right now, and they want to make sure the track is dry before we go green, and unfortunately we're 7 laps to that halfway park, so we're going to be under red flag conditions here for just a little bit.
Every time we went to Ryan Newman's in-car shot, we were seeing a little bit of moisture on his windscreen. We wasn't sure if it was coming from his car, someone else's car, or rain. It may have been a little bit of rain and from his car.
Sounds like a possible radiator problem is what it looks like.
Trouble for Ryan Newman, but you know what? Who's going to win this one? We don't know. Rain coming down a little bit. We'll be back in a second here on Speed.